Hi everyone and welcome back to my channel. I'm very happy to have you guys here. In today's video, as you can see, I want to share my thoughts on 4 fragrances from Arabiyat Prestige. Arabiyat Prestige is a sub-brand of My Perfumes. If you have been watching my channel lately, you know I have been covering some of their fragrances in different videos of mine, and in today's video I want to share my thoughts, like I've said, on 4 fragrances from them. I want to share my thoughts on a fragrance called Nisma. This is their inspiration of Yum Pistachio Gelato from Kayali. I want to share my thoughts on a fragrance called Hypnotic Vanilla. This is their inspiration of Jean-Paul Gaultier's Divine. Yeah, Divine, I think it's called. And I also want to share my thoughts on 2 fragrances from the Nyla or Nyla collection. I will call it Nyla. I don't know exactly the pronunciation. So I have here Nyla or Nyla Suede. And I also have here the simple Nyla or Nyla. Again, I don't know the exact pronunciation. I also have the Nyla Vanille, which is their inspiration of Bianco Latte from Giardini di Toscana, but I want to cover this fragrance in a dedicated video where I want to compare it to Bianco Latte, to Eclair, to a lot of other fragrances I've tried that share a similar DNA. So without further ado, let's just start, you guys. These fragrances were kindly sent to me by the team from Dubai Collection, so thank you so much to the team from Dubai Collection. The videos are not sponsored. I'm not paid to mention anything in particular about the fragrance or about the fragrances, considering they are 4. They send them to me, I test them, and I come here and I share my experience with the fragrances. With this in mind, if you're based in the European Union, if you're based in UK, USA or Switzerland, and if you would like to shop Arabiyat Prestige and other sub-brands of My Perfumes, as well as fragrances from Paris Corner, Rogue Perfumes, French Avenue, Fragrance World, and many other brands, you can do so on Dubai Collection. They have full bottles for amazing prices, as well as samples or decants for all the fragrances available in their catalog, so definitely take advantage. If any of the fragrances I will be discussing in today's video catches your eye, make sure you start with a sampler, start with a decant and test it first. Let's start with Nisma, the inspiration of Yum Pistachio Gelato. I will add the unboxing part, but very quickly, and then we will talk about the scent. If you have tried a handful of fragrances inspired by Yum Pistachio Gelato, or actually even the actual fragrance like Yum Pistachio Gelato, this fragrance follows a very similar DNA. So this opens up pretty cold, pretty crisp, pretty airy, but a very breezy type of airiness. And it legit smells as if you were to get whiffs of a pistachio ice cream. It's not like you can actually smell the ice cream up close, or I don't think this fragrance embodies the taste of a pistachio ice cream, for instance, but I feel like in the opening it embodies like you're in an ice cream store, and for some reason there is a lot of pistachio ice cream there, and as you lean closer to pick your flavors, let's just say, you get whiffs of that beautiful cold breezy pistachio scent or flavor, let's just say, of the ice cream. So I'd say in the opening this is the most dominant accord. This is the highlight of the fragrance, of course, the pistachio facet. It's pretty airy, pretty light, pretty breezy, pretty cold in the opening. I also pick up a gentle citrusy facet, but don't be scared because the citrus, again, it's a subtle facet there in the background to add a little bit of vibrancy in the opening. I pick up something like bergamot. Again, it's more of an abstract citrusy accord, but it's not overly zingy, overly acidic, refreshing, quite a balanced citrus accord. It just adds, like I've mentioned, this almost revigorating vibrancy element to the opening of the fragrance, so it doesn't just feel airy and breezy from the pistachio accord. You also have that vibrancy touch from the citrus. And I'd say in the opening, to my nose, these are the 2 main dominant facets. First the pistachio, then the citrus. As the fragrance stays a little bit here on paper, I also pick up gentle facets of cardamom. The cardamom, I can't say it's overly emphasized in the fragrance. Again, I'd say to my nose it's more in the background. It acts again just to add a little bit of diversity and another layer of something green to the fragrance. This fragrance smells green, but first it's green from the pistachio accord, then it's green from the cardamom, you know, like green from the pistachio, then green from the citrusy part a little bit, then green from the cardamom. But as the citrusy part fades away, which happens in like 5 to 6 minutes, you barely detect any to my nose, I'd say it's the pistachio that's the main main highlight of the fragrance, and then with gentle spicy cardamom facets in the background. It definitely has sweetness. As I'm smelling this fragrance, I pick up the greenness from the pistachio with the greenness from the cardamom, make it very light and bright and breezy and airy, but at the same time it's quite dense and full-bodied. It's not the type of fragrance that's airy and bright and it's barely there, you know? No, it has quite a body to it. And I start to pick up slowly but surely more and more vanilla that contributes to the sweetness of the fragrance. So this is a sweet fragrance. However, it's not a sickly sweet fragrance, you guys. If you are not the biggest fan of overly sweet fragrances, of photorealistic gourmands, edible gourmands, then this might still be your cup of tea, because even though it does have its sweetness for sure, so keep this aspect in mind, but to me the sweetness again adds this playful element to the fragrance, you know, this inviting, happy, uplifting, playful element to the fragrance without making it feel juvenile or like a fragrance created for kids or anything like this. Definitely not the case. No, this is that typical light, bright, airy fragrance for the summertime or for warm weather in general. I feel like I couldn't picture this fragrance in cold weather. I feel like the cold sensation of this fragrance with the cold winters we have here in Romania, they would just clash a little bit. I don't know. I feel like in winter, at least for my taste, I prefer something much more spicy, much more dense. Some of my decadent, heavy hitter gourmands, you know, or in general fragrances with more richness or with more warmth to them. Yeah, but I'd say this is that fragrance that you can wear from the beginning of spring when it starts to get a little bit warmer outside. But this would shine so beautiful in summer, you guys, if, let's just say, you are one who doesn't appreciate those typical summery fragrances like refreshing citruses, musky fresh florals, your skin but better musks, all of those fragrances created in general typically for the summertime. Perhaps if you don't really resonate with them, this is something that's still very wearable in the high heat. It doesn't feel like it will suffocate you or anyone around you, but it has that airiness. It still maintains somewhat of a level of freshness, dare I say, even though it's not fresh like an actual fresh fragrance like blue fresh, aquatic fresh or anything like this, but the airiness and that cold sensation that envelops all of these notes will make it very wearable, friendly, will make it very wearable for very high heat. This is what I wanted to say. So yeah, now the energy of this fragrance, you guys, it's feminine, it's playful, it's girly. But again, girly without feeling juvenile. It's just that fragrance that you wear when you are in a good mood, when you're feeling yourself. It's a pretty casual fragrance, dress it up, dress it down type of fragrance. Now, as the fragrance develops, it definitely gets a little bit denser. I feel like the vanilla starts to shine much more and it adds much more body to the fragrance, you know, so it doesn't feel, again, like I've mentioned, a very light and bright and breezy type of fragrance, overly airy, borderline ozonic. It feels quite dense, quite robust, quite rich. However, imagine all of these dense, robust, rich accords enveloped into this fresh, breezy, airy accord. And I feel like this aspect is what makes it, let's just say, feel a tad lighter and brighter compared to other fragrances inspired by Young Pistachio Gelato. Think Lashes by French Avenue. Lashes by French Avenue, guys. Now, that is my favorite fragrance. Like, if you are curious between this fragrance, Nisma, Hair Pistachio from Paris Corner, and Lashes, which one would I recommend you to try the first? I'd say of course, it depends what you like in fragrances, but I'd say this, you guys, if you were looking for an ultra realistic and very layered and complex and full-bodied take on pistachio, where you can actually smell the pistachio, that fragrance, by the way, I have a review, so definitely check it out if you're interested. But that fragrance, I feel like, features two types of nutty accords. To my nose, both lean somewhat somewhere in the pistachio department, you know. On one hand, I pick up in Lashes that very creamy, dense, almost paste-like pistachio paste, you know, that the type of paste you would use to fill up croissants with pistachio is that type of pistachio accord. So it's sweet, but it's a very dense type of pistachio accord. It is freaking delicious. And on top of that, I also pick up this nutty toasted quality. It's almost like you were to toast some pistachios on the stove, you know, and they get, yeah, slightly toasted in a way. I pick up that type of accord as well. So if you are looking for the nuttiest version or nuttiest interpretation of Young Pistachio Gelato, I'd say go with Lashes. If you are looking for the lightest, the breeziest, but still has sweetness, I'd say go with Nisma. Now, the one from Paris Corner, I'd say that takes you on a bit more of a journey. I have to revisit the decant that I had, but from testing that fragrance a while ago, to me in the opening it smelled very, again, refreshing, airy, bright, light, musky, a little bit citrusy with the cardamom. Then in the hard part it smelled like, for some reason, it kept reminding me of the smell of cardamom scented shaving cream back from the 90s. And then it's just in the dry down they got the sweetest, the creamiest. It had that whipped cream type of accord with the beautiful nutty pistachios with vanilla. But all in all, I'd say in the dry down is where that fragrance felt the richest, the creamiest, the sweetest also. And from this perspective, I'd say this is actually a tad more wearable and safer as a purchase than hair pistachio. My favorite one, if you're wondering, like I've mentioned, is lashes, but that's because I appreciate a good, well done, rich, decadent nutty pistachio cord, and also the fragrance has a lot of sweetness as well. But if you want something that's a little bit more airy, perhaps you find the lashes too thick, perhaps too suffocating in the summertime, then this would be a beautiful alternative. So those are my thoughts on this fragrance, you guys. Now let's move on. Look, let's move on to Hypnotic Vanilla, you guys. Now, when the team from Dubai collection told me they want to send me another parcel, they asked me if there are any fragrances in particular I would like to test. And receiving a lot of questions about this fragrance, I was like, if they could send me a decant, that would be amazing. But they were very kind and they sent me a full bottle. So yeah, but I am on the fence with this fragrance, you guys. I have here the dry down from yesterday. Seeing the dry down, I don't pick it up. Yeah. Let me just leave this one with the dry down and do a fresh one, so I will be able to compare the hard part and the dry down. This fragrance, like I've mentioned, is their take on the DNA of Divine from Jean Paul Gaultier. I've smelled that fragrance. Very beautiful, very pretty, just not my cup of tea. But this fragrance, so the opening is amazing, the dry down is amazing, the heart. I am struggling with the heart, but I will tell you that in a second. So this opens up with a fruity accord. The elegy feels mouth-watering, something. It's hard to describe, it's more of an abstract fruity accord. I pick up, it's almost like you have a bowl of fruit and you pick up different facets of all these types of fruits, but make it very translucent, transparent, a tad aquatic almost, but not aquatic in a sense that it feels blue, just something mouth-watering and juicy and dewy. This is the fruity accord I pick up in the opening. And with something slightly sweet and sour that makes your mouth pucker, I also get this facet behind the fruity accord. So I'd say in the opening, this is the fruitiest. Not just fruity or any type of fruity accord, it's a fruity accord that legit makes your mouth water. This is how juicy the fruity accord is. But the way the fruity accord is worked in this fragrance, it results into a very interesting texture, you guys. You have here a mix of such distinctive, almost like contrasting accords, and it results into a very specific scent and texture while feeling a very wearable fragrance. This is not a challenging fragrance unless you get parsley, but I will talk about that in a few minutes when I will get to the hard part. But unless you get something similar to parsley in the hard part of this fragrance, then this is pretty much a very safe blind buy. So like I've mentioned, the opening feels fruity, it feels light, it feels borderline aquatic, but with something very ozonic and airy at the same time. A touch of something fresh marine in the background. This fragrance, you guys, is the embodiment of summer to me. I don't know why when I smell this fragrance, it's like you're on the beach, you're tanning. You get whiffs of that almost like salty marine quality from the sea. Your skin is a tad salty, you know, from swimming in the ocean or in the sea, and then you get back on your chair to tan a little bit. You're enjoying like a bowl of fruits, you know. And you get all of these different facets in the air combined. I say this is the fragrance to me, with an added white floral accord. But even the white floral accord, you guys, it still feels, first of all, very modern, nothing indolic, nothing green, nothing challenging, it's modern. And it feels modern, airy, a tad minimalistic almost, and pretty abstract. I can't say, oh, I smell jasmine, oh, I smell tuberose. To me, it's an abstract white floral accord that contributes to the breezy dimension of the fragrance. And again, it just adds another layer of complexity. So I say this fragrance, it's fruity first, then floral, then you have this very unusual in a way, salty marine quality, something a little bit musky and powdery, and vanilla. But the vanilla, it's almost like it's the last thing I pick it up when I smell this fragrance, and it's deep there in the background, and it contributes, I'd say, sweetness wise, texture wise, it doesn't do much. You know, usually vanilla accords in fragrances can add this beautiful creamy gourmand dimension to a fragrance, or this deep dark, almost balsamic leaning, or vanilla essence, like an aged vanilla essence type of effect to a fragrance. So they add richness, they add warmth, they add this, or they could add creaminess. I'd say this, the vanilla here, just adds a touch of sweetness, a touch of something sweet, but it doesn't contribute texture wise. It doesn't make this fragrance feel creamy at all. This fragrance is ozonic, it's aquatic, it's marine, it's fresh, it's breezy, it's airy, it's light, it's bright, and it's very projecting, you guys. I sprayed this fragrance on a test strip where I have the dry down of the fragrance. I sprayed it yesterday, and of course I was testing this fragrance, and then I had to go out of the room and do other things around the house. And when I came back to that room, I feel like 1 or 2 sprays on the test strip. You guys, the air in the room smelled like this fragrance. This is such a projecting type of fragrance. This fragrance travels through the air, and this is for the summertime. To me, like wearing this one in the cold season, I don't know, to me it just wouldn't sit right, honestly. But this in the summertime, if you want that very modern, feminine white floral, but you want to make it very summer appropriate, but not really boring. I can't say that it's a boring fragrance. It's not. It's just my issue with this fragrance, you guys, is that in the hard part, let's just say 25 minutes in, out of nowhere, besides everything that I've told you, this pretty much smells, I'd say, the same. It doesn't have such a complex development. I'd say it's more of a linear fragrance. You lose that juicy, mouth-watering, fruity facet. You also lose that accord that makes your mouth pucker. But I'd say it's the floral part with the vanilla and those ozonic aspects on one hand, with something like salty and marine on the other hand, that shine the most. So it's this salty marine ozonic white floral with a little bit of vanilla. But you guys, my issue is I start to smell something that smells like parsley or like cilantro. I don't know where is it coming from, you guys. I don't know where is it coming from. And I haven't smelled enough Divine from Jean Paul Gaultier to be able to tell you if I pick that facet in Divine as well. But see, now I start to smell it. It smells like freshly cut parsley, you know, so it's a tad spicy, green, and slightly aromatic. This is the facet I pick up in this fragrance as well. But once I've smelled that parsley accord, I cannot remove it from my brain, you guys. And every time I smell this fragrance, it reaches, let's just say once it reaches that part, all I can think of is the smell of parsley. Yeah, legit, you guys, legit smells like parsley. Or I will add here on the screen because I don't know how that herb is called in English, but used for soups, you know. Yeah, I don't know. Let me know if you have tried this fragrance. Let me know if you pick up that green accord. I'd say this green accord lasts all in all on my skin, it lasts for around an hour. It lingers. Here on paper, for instance, here on paper it doesn't linger for that much. I have here the dry down from yesterday. See, here on paper in the dry down, it smells like a breezy, salty vanilla with some white florals, make it very ozonic with something a little bit marine in the background. This is the fragrance. Beautiful for the summertime. Again, very wearable, but has something about it, and also very projecting. So if you are looking for a fragrance for summertime, this is a beautiful fragrance, but test it because, again, you might pick up that parsley accord. And again, see, when I smell it here, it doesn't even shine as much, but I feel like on my skin it shines much more, and I genuinely don't know where can that spicy green aromatic facet that comes across like parsley to my nose comes from. But if you have tried this fragrance, please let me know if you pick it up as well. I'm thinking maybe it's because this is a freshly opened bottle, so if I would let it sit for a while, I'm thinking in my mind that parsley facet will fade away, hopefully. But anyways, I will keep you updated. So removing the parsley from the discussion, let's just say beautiful fragrance, Beautiful summery fragrance, very designer-esque type of blend, luxurious presentation, great price, like nothing to complain about. It's very wearable, very likable, simplistic, but simplistic that's very projecting, very loud and very strong, you know, like longevity is very well, more than 6 hours on my skin. Projection is amazing, like I told you. Sillage, even though I haven't done like a full wear test for this fragrance, but I can tell you that if you do like 10-15 sprays, this is the kind of fragrance you will walk with, like a huge cloud of fragrance around you. And it's very wearable, minus the parsley, but again, keep in mind, don't let the parsley facet that I pick up scare you, because you might not pick it up, but I would recommend you in general to start with a sample if you're curious and see how you feel about it. And if you have tried it, please let me know if you pick up that parsley facet. So those are my thoughts about this fragrance. Let's move on to the next fragrance. Let's move on to the lighter one, and then let's leave the darkest, heaviest one as the last. Let's move on to Nyla or Nyla again. This is the most girly, this is the softest, the most gentle, the yummiest also. Yeah, this is very girly, you guys. This is girly, this is uplifting, this is playful, this is all around, this is all around. This is all about, or made around, a fruity accord. It opens up with a lot of peach. To me, this smells like a rich, full-bodied peach juice, but that type of peach juice with the nectar and everything, you know, so it's a tad more dense and robust, and you have this peach accord that sits on a beautiful base of creamy sandalwood that in the heart kind of feels a little bit milky. So it starts creamy, then it goes milky, then it moves, let's just say, a little bit more lotiony, then it goes airy. Yeah, but right from the start, this fragrance feels extremely creamy and dense and round and gentle and soft and girly and princessy even. Now, I'd say, depending on your taste, some might find this blend, let's just say, a tad more youthful, but if you have a taste for fragrances like Yara, like Rave Now for Women, like Suede from Betel Bahor, then you will not find this DNA youthful. Quite the opposite. You will find it very easy to wear, easy to pull off, casual, dress it up, dress it down, but all in all, just very girly and fun and uplifting type of DNA. Yeah. This is the fragrance, you guys. This is all about that peach accord. So it's the peach accord and then the sandalwood in the background with a little bit of vanilla that again will contribute to the creaminess of the fragrance in the heart and the sweetness. So this definitely gets sweeter as it stays on your skin. But let me describe you. So it opens up with that peach nectar with the pulp type of accord, so it feels round and dense and sweet on that beautiful creamy sandalwood base. Then it gets to a point where the vanilla shines more, so it adds a little bit more sweetness to the fragrance, and it contributes texture wise as well, so it makes the fragrance feel a bit more dense and full-bodied, with that peach accord being the highlight of the fragrance. Then the milky sandalwood, it goes a little bit more lotiony, and that's the moment when it reminds me of Suede from Betel Bahor. And then, you guys, it goes very musky, airy, and it can smell like fruity, like a peachy forward shower gel, or like a peach forward, like, think if there would be a peach nectar lotion from Victoria's Secret, this is how this fragrance would smell in the heart. And then in the dry down, it would smell like that peach nectar lotion, or like that peach nectar scent from Victoria's Secret, but in a shower gel format. You know what I mean? So that's the vibe this fragrance gives me. Yeah, and see, besides everything that I've told you so far, I also get different accents, or let's just say facets, that shine as the fragrance develops. I also pick up some yellow florals in the background, but again, gentle, tropical, soft whiffs of something floral, yellow floral by the way, but it complements very well the peachy accord, you know? It makes you feel a little bit more tropical without going into the tropical suntan, sun lotion type of coconutty fragrance. I know it has listed coconut, you guys. Honestly, I can say that I pick up much coconut, if I'm being very honest. I think there are other facets that shine more than the coconut. You guys, legit, you guys, this smells like if there would be a product called peach nectar, this is it in the opening. Yeah, it's very beautiful. What can I tell you? Very beautiful, very girly, very soft, very playful, a little bit inviting, you know. It has an underlying flirty element. It just smells happy and bubbly and uplifting and giggleish without smelling juvenile per se, though some might find this scent profile a tad more juvenile, but again, it depends a lot what you choose to wear, what you prefer to wear on a day-to-day basis. Yeah, again, I don't pick up coconut at this moment on, but keep in mind all of these are fresh batches, you know. I have just sprayed them for the first time, like 4 days ago, 3 days ago. So keep this aspect in mind. But like I always do, I will keep you updated on these fragrances. Let's just say in like 1 or 2 months, I will film an update and I will tell you if I've noticed any improvements, scent-wise, texture-wise, if any new notes, let's just say, came to life in the fragrance or not. But yeah, this is how the fragrance smells like. Similar to Suede Dahab, but not the same. Not the same, but similar. So those are my thoughts on this fragrance, you guys. Now let's move on to the last fragrance. Let's move on to Nyla or Nyla Suede. Let me show the presentation and then let's talk about this fragrance. Okay, so this, you guys, is the most unique, let's just say, fragrance from today's video. This to me is a unique DNA. I haven't tried anything that smells like this fragrance. Let me just spray it here quickly. So this makes me think and say that this is a unique fragrance. And on the By Collections website, they say it's something from Nyla with something from Nyla Vanille with Suede. I'd say in the opening, I pick up nothing from Nyla or from Nyla Vanille. Nyla Vanilla or Nyla Vanille, anyways. To me, you guys, this opens up with a Suede decor, but the Suede decor that's done right, there's a difference. Not all Suede decors are done the same. There's that Suede decor that usually feels quite dry. It's paired with a woody accord and it feels almost a tad rough dry. And if you add another layer of something breezy and musky, in a lot of situations, it can come across as something that smells a tad sharp, a tad screechy. Screechy, that's the word. Yeah, that's that type of Suede accord. Though it can work, depends a lot what you pair it with, you know. But this is the type of Suede accord that feels photorealistic and it has a gentle funkiness about it that to me again contributes to the realistic element of the Suede accord, you know. This legit smells like that old Suede leather jacket that someone had it for ages and it's a tad funky by now. I'd say this fragrance was constructed around the Suede accord, so keep this aspect in mind. This is for the Suede lovers. This is for those who are looking for fragrances that feel a bit more unique, a bit more weird, definitely weird, but again a good kind of weird, not the type of weird that it's like weird. No, like a good type of weird, the type of weird fragrance that, because it has this weird edgy quality about it, it makes it stand out and it makes it feel quite assertive, quite bossy, quite statement, quite unique and creative at the same time. So like I've mentioned, let me get back to the scent profile. You have the Suede accord and then behind this Suede accord you have different facets to the fragrance. It smells like the Suede is coated into this dark, deep, warm, borderline syrupy almost of a honey accord, so it does add a lot of sweetness to the Suede accord, so it kind of balances out the funkiness a little bit. So it's not just funky, no, it's funky, it's suedey, but with a lot of sweetness from the honey. And it also has this dark, rich, nutty facet about it with something a little bit vanilla. I'd say the fragrance, like, how to describe you? So it doesn't feel dry at all, quite the opposite. It feels like a very complex, full-bodied and fully opaque kind of fragrance. It has an amber-like richness. You have an amber accord in the base that supports all the other notes, so it doesn't feel flat or thin. No, it feels extremely rich. It has lots of depth about it and all of these different accents, you know what I mean? But again, it doesn't feel dry and flat. No, it has a beautiful body. It has this multifaceted layered effect. Yeah, I'd say the Suede is the most dominant accord from the opening till the hard part. It's just in the dry down that I feel like it starts to go more and more in the background, and the fragrance develops this very unexpected creamy sandalwood with something like 2 pinches of something vanillic with the honey facet there, and all of this accent add sweetness to the fragrance and warmth and richness to the fragrance as well. Some gentle nutty accents, but they're like behind the Suede accord. Until you lose the Suede accord, or let's just say more so the funkiness of the Suede accord, you lose it in the dry down, and it's the honey that shines. I still pick up some Suede facets in the dry down, but it doesn't feel as highlighted, let's just say, you know, it doesn't feel as challenging. Now, is this a challenging fragrance? I don't know if I say it's a challenging fragrance, but I would say it's an acquired taste. You need to be someone who loves Suede accords in their fragrances, and you need to be someone who's open to testing fragrances that feel a tad more weird than your usual day-to-day, simplistic, straightforward designer releases made to be liked by everyone, you know? But given this perspective, I actually really appreciate what they did with this blend and with this collection in general. I think it's nice they decided to add, first of all, a unique fragrance, so kudos to them. And second of all, such a complex fragrance. This type of blend, you'd find it mainly in niche fragrances, let's just say, for sure. Not really designer, because designer fragrances, they want more or less to go on the safe route, you know. They want their fragrances to be likable, they want their fragrances to be not really generic. I can really say generic because I have found some designer fragrances that I have fallen in love with, but overall I'd say they are more easy to tolerate, easy to digest, you know. It's rare that you will come across a designer fragrance that completely reinvents the wheel, you know. But I feel like this pairing, a funky Suede and a funky, with the accent on funky, a funky Suede accord that feels extremely rich and layered and dark, you guys. This fragrance smells very dark, with something honeyed, with a milky sandalwood, with this unexpected nutty quality. I pick up gentle green accents, but very soft and gentle, like I've mentioned. It doesn't take the shine away. This is something you don't come across every day. This is something worth testing if you are into this kind of fragrances, and if you overall wanted to try out something that's a little bit more different, a bit more unique, you know, if you wanted to explore with Suede accords that are affordable but they smell much more expensive. This fragrance doesn't smell like a 34 euro fragrance. This fragrance smells like it would belong into the 100, 150, even up more than that, let's just say, price range, simply by the level of notes they chose to put together and the texture they managed to create with this fragrance. Because again, the texture is done right, you know, it doesn't feel flat, it doesn't feel stretched out, it doesn't feel diluted by any means. The opposite, it feels like a very rich and layered and robust kind of fragrance. So yeah, I can only tell you good things about this fragrance. It's a beautiful fragrance for someone with a very specific taste. But again, if, let's just say, you want to try more blends, no, let me just rephrase that, you guys, because it doesn't make any sense. So basically, if you were on the hunt, let's just say, or on the lookout for Middle Eastern releases done by Middle Eastern brands, but they are not inspirations and they are not your typical musky floral or anything like this. If you wanted to try something that's a little bit more unique, for sure, that's definitely more assertive, bossy, mysterious, demanding, confident, that's the energy of this fragrance, get a sample, get a decant, try it. But you need to have an open mind, I feel like, when you try something like this. You definitely need to have an open mind. So those were my thoughts on the fragrances, you guys. Thank you so much for watching. I want to give you an update on these 4 fragrances. Again, in a month or 2 months, I want to let you know if I have noticed any improvements, if I have, or let's just say, if any other notes or accords have managed to shine in the fragrance as well, besides everything I've told you about them so far. So yeah, what can I tell you? My quick conclusions: don't skip out on Arabiyat Prestige, you guys. They have a wide variety of different fragrances, something for every taste out there, but the presentation is luxurious, the bottles are very beautiful, the scent is very well done. So yeah, it's a brand, or a sub-brand to My Perfumes, that's really worth looking into. Those are my thoughts on these fragrances. Thank you so much for watching. Thank you to the team from Dubai Collection for sending me these fragrances for reviewing purposes. If you have tried any of these fragrances, please let me know what you think about them. I would love to hear your thoughts on the fragrances. Doesn't matter if you love them, if you hate them, if you have tried these fragrances, or maybe you have tried other fragrances from My Perfumes. actually more so from Arabiyat Prestige. I would really love to hear your feedback on the fragrances, and I'm sure other people who are watching this review will find your feedback very useful as well. So yes, thank you so much for watching, you guys. Don't forget you can follow me on Instagram. I will see you in my next video, but until then I want to wish you an amazing day wherever you are. Bye.